Welcome to the chat where the deals get done. Real estate tips and a whole lot of fun. Think different, achieve your goals. Real estate simplified, that's how we roll.
Hey there, thanks for joining us today. I'm Mike Cruz, broker-owner of Reside Real Estate, here with Brandon Rizik from Allied Mortgage.
What's up, Mike? How are you?
Doing good. How's it going?
I'm good, man. Hanging in there.
Yeah?
Life is good and simple this week.
All right. That's great.
It's good.
So we are going to talk today about age-restricted communities, also known as 55-plus communities. We have them scattered all throughout Las Vegas. But first, we're going to talk about the market just a little bit. Brandon, if you want to give us an update, what's going on with interest rates?
Interest rates are flat. They're flat. They're down overall. Don't know if you guys watched the last one that we did, but interest rates are overall very flat from last week. In fact, I don't think they've moved a bit. There's really not much data coming out. The little bit of data that we get hasn't moved anything. Everybody's in anticipation for September's Fed meeting.
Awesome. So that's
very, very flat. Still low to mid sixes, and you can get some possibly high fives in different types of loans. So.
I know we pointed this out last week, but I don't think we can stress it enough. You mentioned the Fed meeting next month. If they do cut interest rates next month, we're not necessarily going to see a drop in mortgage interest rates, correct?
I can pretty much assure you we're not going to,
Okay.
not necessarily. Listen, I have no crystal ball.
Right.
But, we are priced in. The drop has happened in our mortgage rates already. And I do expect, depending on what Mr. Powell does, I do expect a tiny increase or actually a large increase depending on what he does with interest rates. The Fed rate is not mortgage rates. If the Fed cuts rates, it does not mean mortgage rates will go down. It is already priced into the mortgage rates. Currently, the Fed meeting, if I'm not mistaken, is September 14th through 16th of 25. So anytime before that, I strongly suggest that if you do get quoted something and it works for you, you lock your rate in. Because
Okay.
I do expect them to inch up a tiny bit or a lot, depending on what Mr. Powell says.
I appreciate you clarifying that, just because I know there are people out there stating they're still waiting for rates to come down.
They've come
and
down.
They've come down.
They've come down. Wake up and don't wait.
Okay.
Last year we had the same thing. I think it was last year at this time. Don't mean to drag this out, but last year at this time, it was right before our election. If everybody remembers, we had a 50 basis point cut from the Fed, and it was in September, and we priced it in August, and then September, when the Fed did cut them, rates went up.
Went up. Okay.
So take your rate and run.
So home buyers, if you've been on the fence, now is the time. Rates are good. You still have a great selection of inventory out there. There's homes out there for sale. We're still hovering around that 10,500 mark here in the Las Vegas area. Also, definitely seeing more showings out there happening. Buyers getting pre-approved. So you're going to start running into a little bit more competition, I think.
Yeah, let's talk about the market. So, Mike, and we'll get to the age-restricted stuff here in a bit, because I think this is a great topic. But, you just mentioned that. The showings are up, things are happening. So, we had summertime blues this year. We
Right.
really did in our real estate market, as you know, and we've talked about in the past. But, back to school's done. Mm-hmm. Now, the next thing is Labor Day
Right.
weekend, which is in 2 weeks, or a week and a half, really, from where we're at mid-August now, or almost towards the end of August. Mm-hmm. What happens after Labor Day, in your opinion? It's all opinion-based, obviously.
We jump right into the holidays.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say here in Las Vegas, and if you're watching this back east in the Midwest somewhere where you have 4 seasons, you do get those cyclical cycles of the real estate market where your busy time's in the summer. Here, summer's actually our bad weather.
Summer's your winter. Our summer's your winter.
The only difference is we don't have to dig out from it.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. So our falls here, real estate-wise, are typically pretty strong markets.
Late spring and mid-fall are always my best months of the year. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Believe it or not, there's actually people that wait for school to get back in before they move.
Right. Absolutely. So we do expect that. Do not wait for your Fed rate cuts. Take what you can, run. I do not expect any more rate cuts this year, or if it is, it will be very towards the end of the year. And that is no reason to wait at that point, because you will see a storm of calls right after mid-September if Mr. Powell cuts them. So take your rates, lock them in, take advantage of the seller credits if you can get them. And our humble opinion, we've been doing combined for over 50 years, so I think that
it's been a while.
This is what we've seen in the past. So take it for what it's worth.
Right.
But 55 plus, Mike, this is a huge thing in Vegas.
It is. It is.
You know, a lot of people retire here. A lot of people like the cost of living here, the entertainment. There are a lot of communities here that cater to this demographic. So tell us about it, Mike. What are your thoughts? Tell us, what is the qualifications for it to live in them?
So in a 55 plus community, one of the residents of the property needs to be 55 years or older. It doesn't mean everybody in the home does, just literally one person living in the house. So somebody with a family can actually live there if the youngest person living in the house full time is at least 19 years of age.
So let's clarify this. So let's say I'm 55. I'm not aging myself because I'm not there. So no. But let's say I am 55, but I have a 17-year-old. I could own this house but not live in it?
You can live in it. Your 17-year-old can.
Well, I'm not throwing my 17-year-old on the street. So, but no, just again to clarify what you were saying.
And typically how that works in most of the 55 plus communities is a permanent resident needs to be at least 19 years old. Anyone 18 or younger, they can reside in the home for up to 30 days at a time with a 30-day break.
So if somebody comes for a little bit to visit their grandparents or whatnot,
Right.
they can stay in the home and there's no issue.
Correct.
Okay, that's good
Correct.
to know. 55. 55 is not what it used to be.
Right?
55 is a lot
Especially as I'm
younger than
getting
it
close.
used. Yeah, right. But it's a lot younger than it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, this is just thoughts that come to my mind. Do you foresee this age going up?
Like raising the minimum?
Do you see that ever happening?
No, I don't. No.
Okay.
Most of the 55 plus communities, they're also referred to as active adult communities. So where they have a lot of activities for grown-ups, and that could be anywhere. We'll get more into the amenities in a minute, but there's all kinds of different clubs, from poker, and I know there's several groups of ladies in Sun City Anthem that play mahjong.
Mahjong.
It's a huge thing there.
All right. Well, let me back up a little bit, because I'm just for devil's advocate. I want to play this game because it's just coming to my mind. Because in today's world, a lot of people wait until their mid 30s, late 30s, or even early 40s to have children.
Right.
So that's why I asked, because 55 is really the new 45. I really do believe that, even though it's a saying.
Yeah.
It's going to limit your pool of buyers.
Right.
With that 19-year-old.
It definitely does. So if you are going to live in a 55 plus community, and we were talking about inventory a little bit ago and the swings in home prices and interest rates, 55 plus communities are less susceptible to the market conditions. They tend to stay more even keeled, just because the people moving into those communities, they don't rely on that low interest rate most of the time. They might take out a small mortgage or a mortgage, but they usually have a decent down payment.
Or cash, right?
Or they're all cash.
Right. Okay.
So there really isn't as big of a factor with the economy and how things are doing when you buy in a 55 plus community. Now, with that said, also, there might be some caps on the movement, home values going up, home values going down.
A little more slow and steady.
Exactly.
Whatever way it might go.
Exactly.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So your pool of buyers is maybe limited.
Right.
But the stability might be more of a factor.
Exactly.
And in the latter years of your life, if that's your end home, most of the time it is their end home. That's pretty cool.
Right.
I would think that that's what you want to see. You don't want to deal with the ups and downs and the swings and all of that stuff. So
right.
I think that's cool. And, I think we, here in Vegas with the, people moving out here for retiring, but there's also a lot of snowbirds
Correct.
that come in for that.
Yes.
We call them snowbirds here, but you may just be from
Yeah.
Washington with no snow. We don't take that literal,
Right.
but people come out for the wintertime to escape
Right.
really cold temperatures, really damp temperatures, and they come here for, just 6 months a year.
Absolutely.
So that might keep our values up.
Right. And also, we talked about how here in Las Vegas, we don't have the huge swings with seasons. Well, actually, in 55 plus communities here in Las Vegas, the busiest times are during the winter months.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because those snowbirds are here.
Well, that's when you want to be here, if you ask
right.
me.
Well, absolutely.
So,
Because it's 110 outside. today.
yeah, I mean, it's, I'm sweating right now and I'm
Right.
inside. But anyway, so why would somebody, Mike, you have way more experience than I do on this. Why would somebody want, you talked about amenities, so let's talk about, why would somebody want this 55 plus community? Like, what's so good about
It truly is all about the lifestyle.
this? Okay.
And in most cases, the HOAs for what you get are not very expensive. I consider us here in Las Vegas, we have really three, and somebody's probably going to ridicule me on this, but I'm going to say we have three premier 55 plus communities. That being Sun City Summerlin, Sun City Anthem, and Sienna, which is in Summerlin South.
I'm already ridiculing you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to stay out of it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And it really comes down to the amenities that are offered. They have indoor and outdoor pools. They have golf courses. And then there's a club for absolutely everything. I mentioned the card clubs and games, and they have woodworking and sewing and crafts and you name it. They have a club for it, for something for everybody. Sun City Summerlin and Sun City Anthem, they both actually have 3 clubhouses.
I will say Sun City Anthem, I will agree with you. That is, excuse me, that is probably the best one that I know of. That I know of.
It's, if I were to have to pick one, it would be my favorite. Sun City Summerlin is absolutely fantastic too. It is a little bit older. It was started in the early 1990s as far as building, but they're both
probably
absolutely
about 10, 15 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, versus Sun City Anthem was the early 2000s. So absolutely beautiful communities though. Everything they offer, all single-story homes. Typically they're on wider lots than a lot of the other communities.
What about walking trails, parks, or is this more of just a planned unit development thing? I mean, but is this a thing in the communities?
So they
or
don't
is it not?
necessarily have walking trails, but they have sidewalks everywhere. Sun City Anthem, a couple years ago, they realized that they were short on sidewalks on a couple of the main streets. They had them on all the side streets, but they didn't necessarily have them on all the main streets. Well, they went in and they've corrected that. And if you're familiar with Sun City Anthem at all, there's definitely hills up and down. So it may not be the best for everybody for walking, but you definitely can do it throughout the entire community.
Okay.
So
Now I know some of them have golf courses.
yes,
Like Sun City McDonald Ranch,
Right.
which is right by where I live. I know they're on the Willows golf
right,
course, which is a par 3 golf course, which is, in your latter years, that might be the golf course you're playing.
right,
So that's one benefit there that some of these communities might have.
right. And same goes for Sun City Anthem. They have the Revere Golf Course.
Right.
There's a golf course in Sun City Summerlin as well as Sienna. And there's also a newer Sun City out at Lake Las Vegas.
Oh, I didn't know that. Perfect
all the
community
way in
to
the
do
back.
it. Yeah, it's a perfect community to do it. Though.
Yeah. So, I mean, while they don't have a golf course in the community, there's 3 golf courses or 2 golf courses right there.
So I have a question, and you may not know this answer. I've always wondered this. I don't know if it's a rule or maybe it's one of those unspoken, unwritten rules. Is there a quiet time? Like, is it a mandate by 10 p.m. no noise? I mean, pretty much. I think there's a unwritten rule anywhere you live, with exception. But is it more strict there?
Most city ordinances actually do have it written from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., I believe.
Right.
That there is what's called quiet enjoyment.
Right.
that there is a cap on noise. Now, within the 55 plus communities, I don't know specifically. Sun City Anthem in particular, because it's not a gated community, that it follows the city ordinances. And I would imagine Sun City McDonald Ranch and Sun City Summerlin would follow the same. Sienna may be a little bit different. I've actually heard that Sienna has the strictest HOA out of any community in all of Las Vegas.
Wow.
So even if you don't live there, if you have friends that live there and you go to visit, you speed through the community, your friends can get a speeding ticket for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
For you.
For you.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm not going to go there.
Yeah.
Okay, so so we've talked about some of the good and the amenities. We have pools, we've got card clubs, we've got walking stuff,
Right.
we've got golf courses, we've got a lot of stuff, right? What are some of the downfalls? What are some of the bad things that obviously this is all opinion, right?
Right.
But what are some of your bad things that you might say, downsides to living in those communities?
Something we've already talked about, the limited audience when you go to sell the home. So you may not see those appreciations the same as any other community because your audience is limited. Also, if you have grandkids and they come to visit and you want them to come live with you, that could be a problem.
Could be a problem, and generally those houses aren't very big either. I don't know that you'd be able to fit that many people.
I would say 80% of them are only 2 bedrooms.
Right.
Some of them have dens, but I've even seen some where it's 1 bedroom plus a den.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Actually, more than a
And
few.
not much
actually.
of a yard either.
Correct.
Usually, it's pretty. Depending on where you're at, I
Depends,
guess.
yeah.
Yeah, because I know some in Anthem that
Some
have
do
really
have
big yards,
decent
yeah.
yards. Although it is typical, and this is a Sun City Del Webb development type of thing, I believe. They're not all fenced. A lot of them have been. If your neighbors agree to it, the HOA tells you, yes, you can, then you could go ahead and put a fence in. But unlike other communities in Las Vegas where the builders put fences in when the homes are built, they're not there.
What do you mean fences? I mean, you mean in the back?
The back.
Because I know there's cinder blocks.
The back and the side.
So they just have open lots to the next person?
Yes.
What is this? The East Coast?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So
Or Midwest?
yeah. So if you have a dog, depending on the home, it may not be the best choice for you.
Wow. All right.
So
Okay, so I also have a story, but we'll get back to that. Just from a buyer that was buying there, because some of the financing, usually it's not an issue, but there's sometimes you get questions on financing. But I know Mike has a listing you wanted to discuss, so can we roll the listing, Mike? Go ahead.
yeah, this is not in a 55 plus community, but it is a single story out in Henderson, over near Heritage Park. If you're familiar with the area east of Boulder Highway, out off, I believe, Major is the
Heritage
major
Park is
street.
awesome.
It's a beautiful park out
awesome.
there.
Mhm.
And this is a single story home, 1,356 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 6,500 square foot lot.
Pretty good sized lot for the size of home.
Great condition. You can see the looks to be a remodeled living room there with the electric fireplace. And if we could go to the next slide here, the kitchen, stainless steel refrigerator is included.
Hardwood floors there.
Hardwood
yeah.
floors, black appliances otherwise. And then if we'll go to the next slide, here is the primary bedroom,
Good
two-tone
size.
paint. It's actually really good size.
I mean, you fit a desk, king size bed, and 2 nightstands.
That
I mean, that's
bedroom is
legit,
17
yeah.
by 13.
Yeah, that's a big bedroom.
So definitely a nice bedroom. And keep going here. Next to her, the yard.
Oh, wow,
It has a
little
pool.
yard.
I didn't give you guys the price yet on this home. It's $450,000.
Wow.
It's really quite a good buy. Beautiful pool, little area of turf. You can expand that if you want. It
And a
does have the
shed.
covered patio and the shed there for storage.
I'll tell you, for the size home, that lot is very big.
It is.
It didn't sound big, when you say the lot size,
Right.
but you get into the size of the home and the way it sits on that lot, that backyard is very functional, man.
Yeah.
That's really good, especially for that price.
Yeah, no,
And a
it's
pool?
an absolutely great home. The address is 260 Lido Drive, Lido, Lido Drive. and it's listed at $450,000. It's been getting quite a bit of action, so I actually think it's probably going to sell this week.
Awesome. Well, that's good.
So absolutely great. Turning back to 55 plus community.
So
You had a story about
we got a call.
financing situation.
We got a call from somebody, and I have to tell you, I don't agree with that bank, but this stuff does happen. So we got a phone call from a real estate agent that we work with a lot, and they have a buyer. They were representing the buyer, and the buyer was 54 years old, buying in a 55 plus community, and they were buying it as a primary residence.
Right.
And it was within like 9 months of this person turning 55. Well, in a primary residence loan, stop me if I lose you, Mike.
I
In a
got you.
primary residence home, you're supposed to occupy that property within 60 days.
Right.
So the way the bank saw it was, you're supposed to be 55 to live in there. You're only 54, and in 60 days, you're supposed to move into this property, but you're not going to be 55. So they wanted a letter from the HOA saying it was okay to buy this. Now, I'm going to let you speak in a second, but
Well,
I don't care as in a bank, because we shouldn't care, because I don't know that maybe his mother lives with him.
Right.
It's none of our business, the way I see it. Now, if the HOA wants to, they're going to vet the person themselves, the way we look
Exactly.
at it. As long as the person qualifies and their intent is to move in the property, we shouldn't be asking that question. But to make a long story short, they did that diligence. I couldn't believe that underwriter went that far. Again, not my bank.
Right.
And we told the realtor, the specific realtor, we said, we'll close it, no problem.
Yeah.
But they ended up staying there. I think they just threw a temper tantrum and got it done. But just so you know, these things do happen. So if you're a buyer trying to get a loan, make sure if you are under 55 buying this, you may want to be prepared for these questions.
Right.
So, but
And-
and I know you have a lot to say with this.
I mean,
so-
truthfully, the buyer could come back and say it's age discrimination. Anybody can own any property as long as they're over the age of 18 here in the United States.
But the bank's argument is the occupancy timing. But-
Which I do get, where they're concerned that they might be buying it as an investment property.
Right.
But it's none of the lender's business who else is living with them.
I agree, and that is exactly what the conversation went with my underwriter. But this did happen, and that real estate agent almost lost their transaction because of that.
Right.
So it also goes to show, know what bank you work with too, because that underwriter was doing their job a little too
Right.
much. They were being a detective, and it was like, why? Why are you digging and digging and digging into something that could have just been a quick explanation?
Right.
Could have just been a quick, all you have to say is, hey, explain to me what your intention is. Why do I need a letter from the HOA?
Yeah.
The HOA is not going to say it's okay unless they have something else showing. Why do we need to go that far?
Right.
So that is something that happened. We didn't end up getting it, but the only reason why that one closed is because we said we wouldn't even ask the question.
Right.
So the underwriter
Okay.
probably got their hand slapped over
Yeah.
from a manager or something, I would imagine.
I'm
So,
sure
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah.
So before we end this, just going to talk a little bit about, they're typically, especially here in Las Vegas, it's been a limited market for the 55 plus homes or the communities, but more and more builders are jumping on board with it. They're seeing, as the population in general rises in age, there's a huge need for housing for seniors. And typically Del Webb, which is now owned by Pulte Group, has been the premier supplier or builder of 55 plus communities. But now we have Lennar getting into it with their heritage communities. They already have 2 here in Las Vegas. I think there's at least 1 more coming. D.R. Horton in other markets is building 55 plus communities. And I think that we are going to get one here soon. So just know that if you're interested in a 55 plus community, there's plenty of them out there. Shea Homes also has 2 communities here. And I'm probably forgetting somebody. And Del Webb, there's the Sun Cities, and they also have the Soleras. There's a Solera on the east side of town, east of Boulder Highway, and then a Solera at Anthem. And they tend to be a little bit smaller homes. a little more affordable versus the Sun Cities, and but you just have a lot of options out there.
Well, I'll tell you, if I was moving here, okay, so I'm originally from the Cleveland, Ohio area, okay, which is, gets some pretty nasty winters, as you can imagine.
It's a good place to be from.
It's from, exactly. But the one thing that's appealing to Las Vegas itself, or the Henderson area, just, the Greater Valley here, it's dry heat. It is hot, but it's dry heat, okay?
Right.
But the entertainment factor,
Right.
the tax structure for your corporations that you still might have, and not having a state income tax or anything, these are big draws to be in Vegas, as opposed to maybe New Mexico or Phoenix or even Florida. A lot of people don't want the humidity. They might have asthma. They might have issues there.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just, something that if you are on the brink of, looking, I would definitely consider the desert. I think it's wonderful for your joints, for everything. Yeah, your skin needs some lotion. Don't get me wrong. But at the same time, you get used to it. And I think overall, it's probably one of the best places to be. So.
I couldn't agree more with you, and I think it's why we've seen a boost in our population over the last 10, 20, 30 years.
Which we'll talk about hopefully soon.
Right.
So.
All right. Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Do you live in a 55 plus community? Do you know somebody that does? Tell us about it.
How about some feedback? We would love feedback. Yes.
And we hope to see you on the next one.
Right on. Thanks, Mike.
Welcome to